Understanding AHAMKARA'S Influence on Identity by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. AHAMKARA, often translated as the ego or the sense of I-ness, plays a pivotal role in shaping an individual's identity by constructing and maintaining a coherent self-image. This internal faculty is responsible for generating the subjective experience of separateness and continuity, enabling one to distinguish oneself from others and the external world. The influence of AHAMKARA on identity is profound because it forms a psychological framework through which individuals interpret their experiences, desires and social interactions. By identifying with specific thoughts, emotions, roles and narratives, AHAMKARA creates a personalized story that defines who one believes oneself to be. The process by which AHAMKARA influences identity involves selective attention and interpretation. It filters sensory input and internal stimuli through preconceived notions of selfhood, reinforcing certain traits while suppressing others that conflict with its constructed image. For example, if an individual identifies strongly as a successful professional, AHAMKARA will prioritize experiences that affirm this status while downplaying failures or vulnerabilities. This selective reinforcement contributes to a stable but often rigid sense of identity that resists change or contradiction. Consequently, AHAMKARA's influence can lead to attachment to particular identities, such as gender roles, cultural affiliations, or personal achievements, that shape behaviour patterns and emotional responses. Moreover, AHAMKARA mediates between internal drives and external realities by creating a narrative continuity across time. It allows individuals to perceive themselves as consistent entities despite constant physical and psychological changes. This temporal coherence is essential for planning future actions based on past experiences, but also poses limitations when it fosters identification with transient states or social labels rather than deeper aspects of consciousness. Such identification may result in suffering when constructed identities are challenged or threatened. Understanding AHAMKARA's role in identity formation also sheds light on interpersonal dynamics, since much of human interaction depends on recognizing oneself in relation to others' perceptions. AHAMKARA's tendency toward comparison and differentiation can generate feelings of superiority or inferiority depending on how one's constructed self measures against societal standards. This relational aspect further entrenches ego-based identities within cultural contexts. AHAMKARA profoundly shapes identity by constructing a coherent yet often limiting sense of self through selective interpretation of experience and narrative continuity over time. Recognizing its influence enables greater awareness of how personal identities are formed and maintained, and opens possibilities for transcending rigid ego identifications toward more fluid understandings of selfhood. The awareness of AHAMKARA's functioning in everyday life reveals a profound dimension of self-perception and identity construction that is often overlooked. Recognizing how AHAMKARA shapes our sense of individuality enables a more critical examination of the ego's role in mediating experiences and influencing behaviour. This understanding challenges the conventional notion of a fixed autonomous self by highlighting the fluid and constructed nature of identity as continuously shaped by internal narratives and external interactions. The influence of AHAMKARA extends beyond mere self-awareness. It actively participates in framing desires, fears and judgments that govern decision-making processes and interpersonal relationships. By cultivating mindfulness towards these subtle egoic processes, individuals can begin to disentangle genuine aspects of selfhood from conditioned responses driven by attachment to the I or mine. Such discernment fosters psychological resilience and emotional equanimity by reducing susceptibility to reactive patterns rooted in egoic identification. Furthermore, this insight has implications for broader philosophical inquiries into consciousness and subjectivity, suggesting that identity is not an inherent essence, but a dynamic phenomenon contingent upon mental constructs. Embracing this perspective encourages an integrative approach to personal development, where one navigates life with greater clarity about the interplay between self-concept and lived experience. Ultimately, being aware of Ahamkara's workings empowers individuals to transcend limiting self-identifications, promoting a more authentic engagement with reality that aligns with both personal growth and ethical responsibility within social contexts. This nuanced comprehension thus enriches both theoretical discourse on identity and practical strategies for cultivating mindful presence in everyday life.